If you are an anime fan, our next story is for you. Now, what if I tell you sometime in the future anime would fade away? What if I tell you years from now anime wouldn't exist or would just be a piece of history? And what if I tell you that this could actually be true because Japan could be extinct? Demographic decline in Japan is becoming an alarming existential threat. Every year, millions of foreign visitors visit Japan's Mount Fuji. It is subject to numerous works of art that have inspired generations around the world. But just a few centuries from now, like the rest of Japan, there may be no Japanese left to host a foreign tourist in Yamanashi Prefecture, because in the year 2720, Japan could be down to its last child under the age of 14. The stark projection released by a Japanese university paints a haunting picture of demographic decline. The projection is not just a theoretical warning, it's a reality taking shape across Japan. With each passing year, Japan is moving closer to the extinction of its human population. Japan's birth rate has been falling drastically since the 20th century. In 2023, the country reported just over 720,000 births. Meanwhile, deaths doubled more than births, with more than 1.5 million people passing away. The fertility rate, or the number of children a person may birth in their lifetime, was down to 1.2 in 2023. The threat of extinction is most visible in the rural areas, where most youngsters have migrated to cities in recent years. In the aging countryside, several villages are facing extinction. In recent years, the term Akiya has become a grim catastrophe catchphrase for the country's population crisis. It literally means an empty house. The latest government data shows that there are 9 million Akiyas, or abandoned homes, in Japan, enough to house Australia's entire population. The towns filled with empty houses can soon translate into extinct municipalities. Experts estimate that by the year 2050, 744 Japanese municipalities could disappear entirely due to the chronically low birth rate. To combat the demographic crisis, the Japanese government has introduced several policies to encourage marriage and parenting. Tokyo's municipality even launched its own dating app, which requires users to pledge their intention to marry. But such efforts have had limited success in reversing the population decline. Less and less youngsters intend to get married and have children. The urban centers, even with young residents, are becoming population black holes. Japanese youngsters cite high living costs, work-life imbalance, and cultural shifts as barriers to having children.
It's becoming harder and harder for grandparents to help with childcare. So I think from the very beginning, the social environment makes it hard for women to have a lot of children and continue to work.
In recent years, immigration has been cited as a potential solution to Japan's demographic woes. Foreign population topped 3 million for the first time in 2023. But strict policies introduced in 1952 still influence Japan's approach to immigration today.
I think Japan is already well past the time limit for solving its declining population. My feeling is that if we don't change direction and put in place systems that welcome workers from overseas, it won't be enough.
Japan's demographic decline is more than just numbers. It's a story of communities vanishing, traditions fading, and a nearly humanless future. The question remains, can Japan turn the tide against population decline?
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.